people, Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with a scrapbook Yeah, scrapbook process video using the Cocoa Daisy Wonderland collection. And I admit, when I saw the Alice in Wonderland theme of this collection, I didn't quite know where I was going to go with it. But I had this idea, and you can't really tell in this picture, but my husband and I were doing like one of those quote unquote blood face masks. It's just a red face mask that's like a exfoliating face mask. Anyway, our faces were literally painted red, and I remembered the scene in Alice in Wonderland where they're painting the roses red. And so I went ahead and I decided to go all in with that theme by using the quote from the Queen as the title, and you'll see that in a second. And I used this Tweedledee and Tweedledum card because, duh, that's hilarious. Now I have these envelopes that they're actually envelopes that came in the collection, but there's a reel that I'll link in the description box below on my Instagram that has me making and sort of decorating all of these envelopes. So I've chosen 3 of them to anchor this composition. So you can see the Tweedledee Tweedledum card is in there, and then the photo is in there, and then also the top one looks like the hearts are dumping out of that envelope, which I thought was kind of cool. So I have 2 different papers here, and I cut off the extra inch of paper because the papers from in the Cocoa Daisy collections come as 6 by 8. So I cut off the extra inch because Life Crafted pages are 5 by 8. And I have these 2 paper strips that I'm just wanting to incorporate. So I thought that I would tear them and put them on either side of the layout. And then I liked the way that the floral on that page still extends into the other page, sort of tying those 2 pages together. So I decided to put that one on the inside edge, and then the red diamonds I'm going to put on the outside edge of the other one. So I'm just kind of building my cluster here. I'm not sticking anything down, I'm not committing yet, and I'm just kind of using die cuts and ephemera to decorate pre-sticking anything down. I knew I wanted to cover up the Alice on that Queen card, so I'm just building a little cluster over Alice's face. And I know I'm going to use a bunch of the rub-ons too, so I'm just kind of pre-planning. I'm just going to stick this rose right over her face. There we go. And then I like the addition of the clock as well, because obviously we were on a timer. I don't know, it all makes sense in my head. This is obviously a interesting way to adapt this theme, but I think it works for the page, especially when I put the title down and it brings it all together. Okay, so now that I've pretty much got the composition figured out, I'm going to start sticking them down. I need to start by tearing the paper strips, and I want to do it very carefully because I don't want to tear too much off. I just want the edge torn. I still want basically that whole inch of paper to be the border. So I'm just going really slow and very carefully tearing that apart. And I'm going to put this one on the outside edge. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other paper strip, and I'm going to tear it as gently as I possibly can and put that one on the inside edge. I decided though that I'm going to go ahead and work 1 page at a time since I sort of already know the composition. I thought it would be easier that way. I thought that these were the adhesive die cuts, but I couldn't seem to get a backing off, so I'm just going to use my tape runner instead. And I want this pink tag to be where I'm going to put my title, so I want to make sure that enough is sticking out the bottom that I have room to create my title, because the papers that are included in this collection, and obviously the papers that I've chosen for this page, are really busy, and so if I try and put a title over the top, especially of that newsprint paper, it's going to disappear, especially since I know that I'm going to be using a stamp alphabet for part of the title, since the title is going to be really long. So I'm going to start going ahead and putting these down, making sure that I am being cognizant of the fact that there will be holes punched top and bottom of the inside edge of this page. So I'm making sure that anything that goes to the edge really is in the center I didn't realize when I first put that down that the envelope was hanging off the side, so I'm gonna have to rearrange just slightly to make sure that the envelope isn't hanging off the edge. But first, we cluster. So fussy. All right, oops, yep, off the edge. Here we go. Let's put this where it will fit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put this down separately and then tuck this in a little bit better. There we go. All right, so next we need to, I think I'm gonna move over to the other side. But first, some foam tape for this flare. I was going to make it stick down with the foam tape, but it just would not stay as I worked the page. So instead, I went ahead and poked holes in the layout itself so that the pin would go straight through the layout and hold it that way. But that happens later. So let's tear this paper. Get this last little bit here, and then we'll put it down on the inside edge. Again, I love how the floral spreads from one side of the page to the other. Perfect. All right, now we can start putting our cards down. I love this Tweedledee and Tweedledum card. It says, we do everything together, I think. We do all the things together, which makes sense. It was just a fun little self-care night, and I thought it would be funny to document it. It was my husband's first time using one of those face masks. Well, it's the first time he's ever used one in my presence. I don't know if he did as a kid or not, but it was my husband's first time, so I took a picture. Make sure that this one, the envelope is not hanging off the edge, top and bottom. I want enough room for journaling, but I don't have too much to say, so it doesn't need to be fully uncovered. And then I needed to flip these stickers right side up so that they weren't upside down on the layout. It says, I'm mad about you, and it had like a little teacup pouring, so I thought that now it looks like the teacup is pouring those hearts out. I thought it was cute. Now this queen is going to be shouting the title like she would be in the actual movie or in the book. So I'm going to frame her right here underneath the tag, and I'm going to start stamping out the beginning of my title. So it says, who's been painting my roses red is what my title is going to be. So I'm going to do who's been painting in this stamping. And then I'm going to use that red alphabet for my roses red. And I think that that works out pretty well. Big old huge title, but it takes up a lot of that extra space. Now I am putting down all of these rub-ons, of course excluding most of this process because putting them down actually takes quite a long time. But I'm just using them to frame the whole page. All right, so now I've got the washi tape and I'm adding my journaling, and we are all done. First I gotta cut off this washi tape around the envelope, then I'm gonna add my journaling, and we are all done. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Tracy M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. Tell me in the comment section below if you would be stumped with an Alice in Wonderland theme too, or if that would be easy for you to use. All right, thank you.